So, what is it like to feel to be? There's so many athletes now going into the movie business, and now you guys are executive producers of this film. What does it feel like? What was the reason why you wanted to be a part of this?
That's a really good question. For me, I never had the goal of being in the movie industry. He'll tell you that. It's just storytelling. It was just another avenue to encourage people, and it's not an easy place for a lot of young people, and I have a heart for that. And to be able to tell a story that is a real story, to hopefully young people will be encouraged by it. And for me, growing up and Robby as well, there's a lot of faith-based movies that it was like, man, when they prayed, everything was like just perfect, and it was like done, and it was just not real life. And so it was in the midst of how you can realize you're loved and special even when it's not going good. I think so when I read the story with Robby right down here the road, Ziffern Brittingham, like 2011, I think
it was 13.
All right, yeah.
6 years ago.
We read it, and it was amazing script. And then I remember I was on a trip to the Philippines, and I read it again, and I was in the back of a Jeep, and we were crying, and I was like, man, if it did it to me multiple times, it was a good script. So, yeah.
Do you see any of yourselves in these two brothers? Now, obviously, you didn't grow up in the ramshackle house, and your parents were together, but did you see any of yourself in Zach and Dave Truitt?
I definitely did. I think so because there's 5 kids in our family, and me and Robby are very close, but all of us are very close. And so just as far as being each other's advocates and biggest fans and inspiration and pushing each other, and I think for me and Robby definitely is like, when Robby did something, I did something. So if Robby was running, I was running. And so that really helped me in sports because he was 6 years older. So if he did it and I was doing it when he went to college and I was 12, he would send back his college workout, and I did it as a 12-year-old. And a lot of people would laugh at that, but it's really one reason why I feel like I was able to do decent in sports is because I was training for what he was doing as a college football player and baseball player as a 12-year-old, and that made such an impact for me. And so that running stride for stride with your brother, I think it resonated.
And I think the value of relationships and brothers, and one of the big things in this movie is you don't know what can happen if you believe in somebody. And the power of believing in somebody and having somebody's back and loving somebody, even if maybe at times like you don't agree with them, but you have their back and you believe in them, what they can accomplish if they have that support. And there's a lot of that in this movie, and we've experienced a lot of that together growing up with all our siblings. And
there's never been anybody that has not believed in me. But he's always been one of my biggest advocates, and hopefully me for him too. So I think we resonate with that as well. And especially with when he's football and the scrutiny, or baseball when I made the change, and only the few people that criticized me for that is
one or two.
Yeah, you got to have those people around you that do believe in you, and that's something that for me personally I hold on to almost as much as anything else in my life.
What about the theme about the plans that you make and the plan and what actually happens in your life? Because that's kind of a running theme in this film.
It is. That's also something that has never happened in my life. If you ask me, when I was graduating college, you say, what do you think's going to happen? Hopefully I'd been like, won a couple Super Bowls by now or something. But, it didn't happen, and God had a different plan. A door closed and other ones open. And so it's, trusting Him in the midst of all of that. And is it the plan I would have drawn out for myself? No. But also going through it, there's so much that I've learned that I've shared. I mean, the last few books that I wrote was because of those moments. And the stories that I've been able to encourage people with is mostly because of the lows. Not many people can relate to winning a Heisman or being a first-round draft pick. Most everyone can relate to when the world says you suck, or you're not good enough. You can't do this. You won't do this, right? And so I think that was part of it for me too.
Speaking of scrutiny, obviously this is a football movie. Here you are, Heisman winner. How involved were you in terms of the action, in terms of thinking through, I want to make this authentic in the football play?
Yeah, I want to make authentic, but honestly, Robby was the probably the most in charge of making the football authentic because he was there every day on site. I think I really wanted to make the whole gator scene pretty authentic, though. That was where I kind of stepped in a little bit more and was like, no, if we're running out of the swamp,
For sure.
we're running out of the swamp.
Yeah.
And-
Was it important to shoot that scene there for you guys? To have it? I mean, it could be, you're gonna film it anywhere, but.
You could have, but I do have some.
spot.
I have some friends there in Florida that made it a little bit easier.
It helps when you have a statue outside the stadium, so
It
yeah.
helped to be able to film it there.
For sure.
And you know, the cool thing is, and just little things like this, but that was Florida State game, which is, for any Gator fans, the biggest game of the year. I mean, we kind of hate Florida State, you know? And so, you know, to be able to, you know, to run out of the tunnel there, film it in an environment, it's really cool. It's super authentic. It's real. There's one chance to run out of the tunnel in that game. The only team only does it one time. Well, I guess at halftime, but they kind of straggle out. So it's really one time when the band strikes up and you run out, and it's just cool. So that was so authentic. I feel.
When you made the film in Alabama, I thought maybe.
It was Bessemer, Florida. It was Bessemer, Florida. And one of the cool parts about that story at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium was that it was in between the 5-minute timeout in between the first and second quarter, and they said, you got one shot. You got one shot to get this, and that's it. And then afterwards, you know, everything else is going on in the game, so we had to roll. And so it was funny because this TV timeout, you could see fans looking down like, who's this Truitt kid? Like, with this, like, what? I haven't seen him on the program. Like, what's going on? What's happening down here?
Because
he had
signed a new guy. Cool.
It was cool.
So there's lots of really tough religion questions in this movie.
Yeah.
Have you ever asked those yourselves, and why was it important to show them?
Of course. Of course. I mean, we all go through our own faith journey, and we ask the questions, and you ask why, and, you know, God, where are you in this and in the hard times and all this other stuff. And that's why I feel like one of the biggest themes for me in the movie is understanding even in your lows that God loves you and he's been chasing you, and he wants to know you and support you, and he gave his best for you. And you can know that in the lows just as much as in the highs, maybe even more so.
I have a question first for you, Tim, and then you'll see why the follow-up after.
Perfect.
But I also read, like, not this recent book, but the book before, where you had a quote from one of the Christian apologists who they had, The Case for Christ.
Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, I love
Lee
it.
Strobel.
Yes. So
Yeah.
I'm studying apologetics at school right now. And
Nice.
It's
It's not the easiest thing to ever get into, but good for you.
It's amazing. So I love that aspect in, I think I was telling the main actor in the film, where he's struggling with his faith and he's asking these questions. So that's awesome. My question for you is kind of not football. It's a little more personal.
It's okay.
Could you tell us, I know you recently got engaged, so
Yes.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Two-part question. First part, could you tell us how you and Demi Lee met? And we know that you have been staying, celibate until you're married, which I think is phenomenal. There's a lot of us that are doing that as well. And I think it's encouraging to others. So yes, I wanted to ask you how you met, and then could you tell us what you did to remain celibate?
So we actually met, our foundation has something that we call Night to Shine, and it's a worldwide prom for people with special needs. It actually just happened this past Friday, 24 countries, 655 locations around the world in all 50 states. And it's my favorite night of the year, and probably my favorite thing that I do in my life. So her sister has special needs. And we've had a Night to Shine in South Africa over the last few years. And so she got invited to that. And then through that, we connected. And then we email back and forth, and then text, and then calls. And then all of a sudden, we didn't stop speaking. And now we're engaged. And
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And so that has been really special. And she's incredibly special. And I definitely feel like I'm marrying up. And so that is really great. And she'll be there tonight. So I'm sure she's somewhere getting ready right now. And
You outpunted your coverage, to use a football term.
Asked me to ask you, how did you know that she was the one?
You know what's crazy is we both kind of knew like the first or second time we hung out. And I don't know. It's hard to explain. You just kind of knew.
And how did you manage to, you know, remain celibate and say we're going to wait until our wedding night, even though it's hard because she's Miss Universe?
It's just a choice that that we made, that we both wanted to do that together, and just try to make it as special as possible.
I think that's great. And then for
Hey,
you,
have you seen that?
It's like last question. So
Okay.
everyone,
Dwayne,
wanna
now
get a
that
couple.
you're single, sorry. Every girl's like,
I'm not
you know,
single.
Now that you're gonna be engaged.
I'm not single.
No, now that you're engaged, everyone's been asking me, okay, can you ask his brother, is he single? They want to know, are you available?
Currently, I'm on the market, yes.
There you go, girl. There you go.
hey, we have 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Somebody get one in there.
Yeah.
Are you gonna more films
yeah.
for you guys? Are you gonna do more films, whether they're faith-based or otherwise? Is this like a beginning of a new adventure for you?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I think for this is we wanted to get this one done, and we want to get across the finish line on this and do it to the best of our abilities.
Hashtag run the race, finish line. I see what he did there.
And then we'll see what happens. But I think using the vehicle and of media to tell a story, like Timmy said, is very powerful. And so I feel like both of us were called 6 years ago to this project. And so if the next project, I think we'd look for something the same way, is that it's meaningful and that we're called and we want to tell an amazing story that hopefully inspires and impacts lives.
I think it'd just be about telling the right story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I both had a question.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys real quickly, how do you hope this film, it's a faith-based film, but what do you hope it says to general audiences? Because right now we're living in such a volatile period
Yeah.
where when you say Christian, people immediately associate that with specific political ideas and stuff. But this film has a kind of universal power to it. So
Yeah.
how do you hope what's the hardest part of making a film like this?
Well, we want people of all walks of life to come see it and hopefully get something out of it and to be encouraged, and if anything else, just to know that God loves them and to be able to share that message, and whatever background, wherever they're from, whatever race, I believe that God loves all of us, where we're at, who we are, where we're from. And hopefully that's a message that brings people together, not separates us.
Bouncing off of her question, with the choices you make, what do you hope to teach people with your life? Because example is always the best way to teach.
I'm someone that, one of my favorite quotes is, every day we share the gospel, but every now and then we use words. Meaning we share the most of what we believe with our actions, and then if our words match up to it, then we have even more of an effect. But, I just... I want my life to be one of trying to make others better, because I was in their life, and whatever that is, however it's a platform of football or baseball or movies or my foundation or what anything has given me, I just hope that I made lives better along the way. And if that's by sharing my faith, if that's by smiling, that's by encouraging kids, if that's by Night to Shine or Make a Wish or whatever it is, hopefully I just was able to encourage people along their way, because it's not easy and it's tough for a lot of people, but just be able to make that journey just a little bit easier for other people.
You've done a lot of different things, and like you said, you're just starting into movies now. What do you think is special about movies as far as being able to speak into that different medium? Because you've done books, you've been a public speaker, all that. So now it's...
You can go everywhere. I can't go that many places,
Right.
but it goes everywhere, and you can get to multiple countries and places and just so fast.
Exactly.
And it's an easy avenue to tell a story, and it's extremely powerful. And I mean, just look how it goes, and it's not just the movie theaters, but Netflix and everything right now. It's just instant in front of everybody. So why not use that avenue for good too?
Good. Thank you.
How did you try to avoid the cliches that you often see with Christian films with this movie?
I'll be honest with you.
That was personal to me. Yeah.
Well, I think faith-based films can be put in a box and judged a certain way before anybody ever sees them. So when we set out to do this, we wanted to make a film that was real, gritty, honest, and told a story and in a way that people could relate to. But also, I think, even as Christians, we should be held to the highest standard of production or anything we do, and why not do it in a great way with the best actors and people that can deliver and tell a story the right way. Even when we shot the football scenes, we've all seen movies with bad-looking jerseys and football collisions and all that stuff that doesn't look real. So
yeah, and not that we were perfect or we did it right, but that was like a goal for us, just to
Yes.
try to make it try to make it real. And I think for me, it was, we saw growing up so many of the Christian movies that like were put in front of us at like our parents or church or something. It was just like it would all of a sudden be perfect. It's just not like that. And so you don't want to trick people or fool people that all of a sudden life is going to be perfect. Right. Never told it's going to be perfect or easy. Just worth it. And there's a huge difference. And it's never never said, oh my gosh, this is when if you're following Jesus and God's plan for your life, it's going to be so easy. No, but I believe it's going to be worth it. So I want to encourage people, man, when you're not running away from God, you're running to Him. It's worth it, even though it's not always easy and it's hard. And that was just more so of why. And even you see at the ending, it's probably shocked a lot of you if you've seen it, and but it's because that happens in real life.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much. It was a pleasure.
Spoiler alert.